Are you going to do prediction as well?
Yeah, I'll do.
Okay. I think AllStrike are going to win this map. The fact that they full held SKG kind of gives a sign of how strong they are on this map. And considering they don't have a Genji to really worry about the enemy team, I feel like Rain could have a field day.
I tend to agree with you here. I want to see what they look like after the points taken on the attacking side. But all right, so we see actually the D.Va coming out here for Stylish Noob and also the Genji. So Genji, D.Va, Winston, that classic dive comp's there.
Where's the Zarya? I mean, they're going to try to dive at the high ground with the 3 people, but they don't have like the standard Zarya. They're going to go straight through main, and then they go immediately push into the high ground on the right side.
Yeah, well, we actually see straight away Yamato falling down there, but the dive comp, well, we don't really know what they're doing because we can't see them. They pushed in so deep here. They've made some decent ground. This may work out. We'll see. It's trading back and forth right now. 91-39's got a lot of freedom just to sit up on the balcony. Now he has to commit towards the fight, but East gets himself 2 kills. Samsara responds well, and Detonator tried to dive. They dive a little bit too deep. So far, they've run out of air.
So, in theory, that comp works decently well if there's someone there to kill. The problem is they went to the high ground, but there was no one to fight because you had a Mei, you had a Reaper who were going to be playing towards this edge. You're currently seeing 91-39 play on. So they jump into the high ground, they flank all the way around. The problem is now you just left Yamato, you left Delave, and Spygia by themselves to try to get up to you guys to catch up, and they got picked off one by one by the Mei. Like, that's just not going to work out, and maybe if they wait a couple seconds, hit tab just to see what they're up against, they could have actually made that first attack not happen.
Delayed not able to get any damage or at least any kills with their pulse bomb into that fight, despite everyone really on the side of AllStrike being quite close together, clumped up even. You see Spyger able to avoid the damage coming in there after it was frozen stiff, but nicely done. 91-39 going to be coming with the ice spikes here as well. It's a stronghold for AllStrike, it's safe to say. Detonator changed their approach a little bit more in this attack and actually wrapped around back on towards the left platform. They knew that's where Samsara and 91-39 would be, but still weren't able to really properly get to grips. It's like they're overshooting almost where they're trying to attack onto these positions.
Yeah, there's no one really... Oh, wow. 91-39 taking down Delave with a long-range icicle. That, well, ideally should not happen, but you can see from this position. The thing is, this comp is meant to like pick off a McCree, it's meant to pick off a Zenyatta, but with the way AllStrike are playing, they're not giving the opportunity to get those picks, and you have to switch things up for Detonator. If you want to push through main like they've been doing, switch to a Reinhardt. You know, go for something standard, go for a McCree, get some potential long-range battles going in, where you're going to be a little bit more successful. In the meantime, AllStrike are more than happy to force these engagements.
And they've got a lot of ults to work with here, so they can sort of churn through this. East going down early, maybe not ideal, but still there's 5 players from AllStrike to deal with this now. We do hear the Nano Boost coming out, and the Transcendence. So losing that Winston early has forced a couple of ults here from AllStrike, but that's going to work well. Samsara gets himself 2, still trying to work over to where the rest of Detonator are, but his team are helping out in that regard now. Samsara with a bit of freedom to sit back now, but the Transcendence coming in for Detonator here. This might help them just to stay alive on this point while they're dealing with those key targets on AllStrike, but they got Graviton together, and Samsara staying alive through all of that, getting help of course from the dropped souls is going to keep him nice and topped up.
Yeah, honestly, that Transcendence wasn't... It was a mistake at first, because it's like, well, it's just 3 of you. How are you going to take a point against 5 people? But the fact that they got a Graviton and actually invested into that is actually a good trade for them. They still haven't switched anything up, though. And they've been, time and time again, just completely forced back. They haven't really gotten any progress on the point. Yeah. And AllStrike are more than happy to just continue to go with what they have. They need to... I would like to see a McCree. I would like to see a Reinhardt, actually. Maybe a Reaper as well. Kind of pull them down to the point with you. A Roadhog would be perfect because they're so easy to pull from the side. There's no shield for them to hide behind. You pull one down, you're basically going to have a free kill.
Well, Samsara now as well. Again, going to respond to the threatening positioning of Detonator from behind now. Pulse Bomb comes in. I love this Samsara. He was too committed to the fight to try and kill those tanks to realize that the Pulse Bomb was coming out. So Dele, that works out quite nicely for him. He's able to back away a little bit, but now he's just going to be putting up against the wall. If he gets out of this, I'll be impressed. He tries to juke out there with the recall, and it seems to have worked for the time being, but Dele's still very low. Self-destruct comes in, 91-39. Good wall plays when he keeps himself alive there as that one came on down. Any higher and it could have been a bit harder. Now he wants to try and focus that on towards the Zenyatta, but goes a little bit too low while chasing here. The point is being contested right now.
It's being contested, but there's no real progress being made here. But 91-39 is actually getting very low HP. He's about to, what was it, 9 health? He's going to get fully healed up in the midst of this. We see XU switch over to Soldier because they're going to be in overtime now.
Oh, Samsara!
Anyone? No, they don't! Samsara cleans them all up. Delave is just trying to contest in the last few seconds, and 91-39 is more than happy to run away for some reason. And that is a first point hold again.
Yeah, nicely done there from AS. And this is something we've actually seen them be able to do in the past. Remember how, well, I'm not trying to call myself a prophet, but I did say this might be a problem for Detonator trying to work onto this point. Onto, you know, this hybrid map scenario, trying to, you know, getting full hell was definitely going to be a possibility for that team who, you know, maybe didn't actually have the, you know, let's bring Anna into the team, you know, talked about them lacking that element, lacking the nano boost part. This time they go for a bit more of kind of the old school dive comp, you know, the Genji, the Winston, the D.Va, lacking their Zarya, maybe, you know, making it harder for them to subsist through a lot of the damage coming back from the defenders here. But The dive comp comes in, has all the elements that we used to see to be quite effective there on this map, but
the dive comp only really works if the enemy team spreads out or splits up, and they never really split up. They had everyone playing roughly on the same position towards the left-hand side, which is why I wanted to say switch to Reinhardt with a Reaper, push forward slowly through, just slowly kind of churn them down and eventually wear them down to the point that you can push in. Instead, they had the Diva and the Winston who, yeah, they could jump in, but they're jumping into a Zarya, you're jumping into a Mei, you're going to get frozen, you're going to die to a Reaper as well. Like, you're not really going to be able to accomplish too much, and I feel like maybe that's the weakness within Detonator, is seeing what they're up against and counter it correctly. They've shown they can switch heroes, yes, but maybe not switch it to the right heroes.
Well, to be fair, we're also seeing them bring out a different comp, straight off the bat into this map.
Yeah.
We actually didn't really see this from them before, so they respond correctly, I think, to the challenge of the map itself, but then maybe not really be able to read into what their opponents are playing and actually say, okay, what's our problem? Where are we getting stuck? And what's going to be the best response to this? So, and that takes so much pressure off AllStrike as well, because they don't have to change really, they don't have to adjust or respond. So now all they need to do is take the first point, Jason. This could be a very, very quick half for them. It really depends on how quickly they're able to get it done. They even managed to capture it out against NGA, so that's a good sign for them here. I mean, it's not really too much of a task facing them now.
Yeah, I'd agree. And
what's that Torbjorn?
Yeah,
oh, let's go.
Torbjorn Symmetra. We saw this before in Dorado, remember?
I do.
And, well, it didn't work. Let's just say it then.
Wasn't that from AS?
Yeah, it was. You're right.
NGA.
You're right. Sorry, you are right. Yeah, it was against them. And actually, the Symmetra player took down Maps like twice with some right clicks, right clicks.
It smells of it. Well, it smacks of desperation a little bit now, because this is not the first time we've seen him brought out just to try and hold 1 point and know that you can't actually afford to give any ground. Spygear already has himself a teleporter. That is damn fast. Getting those orbs straight on in, getting the damage done. Trades 1-for-1 in kills over this fight, but Detonator can reinforce your Stardust nuke quite quickly with the teleporter being up. Turret down there for XQ. Nice job there. Rain gets a good pick off across the map there, and now he's going to get nano boosted in towards this one. Flash already used there, but still, if he lands his first 2 shots, I don't even know how he found Sioran, but that's going to be enough. Charge is coming in as well. Needs to deal with the Tracer that's still running around, so Dele able to keep free. And that teleporter, all those charges definitely being used here now. Expended, and AllStrike have to deal with multiple waves of Detonators respawn.
Problem is, though, there's no ultimates. There's nothing to actually stop them from coming in. They're going to just walk straight into their death. They're actually coming in 1 by 1, and with the whole hog being used, the Deadeye as well, just to zone them away. I hate to call it, but that's going to be it. This is going to be AllStrike taking the first map.
Yeah, it looks like the hook coming in there as well, so Sioran couldn't even stall from up above, and that's going to be it. A very quick affair here. AllStrike showing that they're very comfortable on Dorado with Detonator. Well, they put themselves in this position, Jason, making no progress on the attacking side and refusing to change their composition at all. Means that it's just, a very easy stroll for AllStrike to go through and capture that point. That's the way the cookie crumbles, and that's the way hybrid max work here. So a very quick lead going to the Chinese squad here. And Detonator, if you're them, you're hoping that you don't suffer the same fate as Unsold stuff yesterday. Both Japanese teams bowing out of the competition after, only a couple games, sort of getting completely knocked out there without a win. That's going to hurt.
So, I'm looking at yesterday's games compared to this one, and I think, I don't know, I want to say that maybe Unsold Stuff Gaming is actually the better Japanese team. However, they played against Snake, which I think we can